Karate, 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 karate.
Dang it.
Heyo, it's your favorite 9 to 5 misfits back again to help you change the game and kick ass in your career. Today we're talking about gender roles and how they can complicate relationships and marriages. And men, listen up because this is something that works in your favor as well. So, gender roles were pretty rigid back in the day, right? Like the man went to work, he provided for the family, and then the woman stayed at home and brought up the kids and household stuff.
More gross.
But things are different now, right?
Women now make up a large percentage of the workforce, and they're just as career-driven and highly educated as males. But those unwritten rules of gender roles haven't really shifted that much. That's creating a problem. Trump. The biggest issue is we're not factoring in choice into the equation. Trump.
Who said that?
So let's look at some instances where gender roles are shifting and what we can do about it.
Instance 1, women making more money than their husbands or boyfriends.
Yeah.
Get horror. So we get comments all the time about like, oh, you're so lucky that you can do this because your husbands are bankrolling your business. Because literally, yeah, that's the only reason we're entrepreneurs. Not the fact that we have savings accounts or aptitude or risk-taking ability.
What are those?
I know. And that's the thing, right? It's socially acceptable for a man to be a sugar daddy. If a woman is out-earning her husband or her boyfriend, pandemonium.
For women who are making more money, it turns out to be most of the times emasculating for the man. His self-confidence takes a hit, especially if he used to make more money and he isn't right now. As a woman, you almost feel guilty, like you need to take extra care to ease your spouse's discomfort. You may also start to see him in a negative light, resent him, or lose respect for him. Either way, it's a messy situation, so how do you manage that?
Hack number 1, set clear expectations. Be brutally honest with each other. What role do you want your spouse to play?
Sexy nurse.
How can you function as a team? What do each of you bring to the table? Do you have shared goals and are you on the same page?
Hack number 2, communicate often and empathize. Conversations about money are often uncomfortable, but they need to happen, especially in a marriage. So make sure you communicate often and openly. Realize that your partner is not looking to be saved. They're just looking to be heard and not judged.
Hack number 3, ladies, don't be sorry for making more money. Don't apologize for being strong, independent women making good money because you've earned it. Of course, you don't have to throw it in your partner's face every day, but don't downplay your accomplishments either.
Instance 2, unnecessary pressure on men. We recently asked our parents how they felt about us being unemployed and going into YouTube and business. Needless to say, they weren't thrilled about it, but they did mention that they would be more worried and would have talked us out of it if we were boys. Because let's face it, it's a desi community. Men have more pressure to have stable jobs than women. Yep, this is indicative of a horrible culture where women's careers aren't taken seriously. But it also sucks for guys because even though their partners are making money, they still face more pressure and stigma for being misfits in the first place.
So what happens if you are that guy who's not as ambitious or is more interested in being the caregiver than your spouse? Or what if you want to take a break, figure out your life, or maybe start a business while your wife supports you? If you're one of those people, own it. Communicate with your partner. Tell them what your plans are, how you can contribute even if it's not financially, and how they can support you. So that brings us to our next hack, which pretty much applies to everything we just talked about in this entire episode. Take it away, Pavi.
Universal hack! Treat your relationship like a startup or a company. Think about what roles each member of your company plays. Maybe one CFO, one CEO. What's your mission? Mission. What's your mission, vision, end goals, company culture? I know it sounds really weird, but trust me, spelling it out is really useful. And you don't have to have the answers on day one. Also, division of labor should be based on skill and not what's traditionally expected. So I make Nami do all the cooking, duh.
If a guy wants to take the lead on parenting and maybe he has a less demanding job, he should be able to do that without any shame. Similarly, if the woman is a better cook and more interested in it, she should take the lead on that without making it seem like the woman's place is in the kitchen. And just like at a company, if one team member is burdened with too much work, the other one needs to step in and ease the burden a little bit. So if your spouse has a full-time job and is still handling the bulk of the childcare and household duties, help them out a little bit.
There's obviously so much more that we can say about this topic. We couldn't fit it into a 5-minute hack. But the idea is you need to start the conversation. Gender roles are assigned the way they are because it's been done that way for centuries. But that structure doesn't work anymore and we need to break that pattern. It's good for men and women to both have the choice on what roles they play instead of the rules that were imposed on them by society. So what about you guys? Did you agree or disagree with the points we made? Please hit subscribe. It is free. Stay tuned for a Getting Real segment on Thursday. Otherwise, we'll see you next Tuesday with a brand new 5-minute hack. Bye.